What's up guys, it's Oblivious Gamer here, and today there's actually fantastic news that I particularly wanted to talk about because it's about a franchise that I really love. And what am I talking about? Well, the Video Game Chronicle had an interview with Oda, who is the producer and designer of SNK, and he so far has spearheaded the revival of their recent fighting games like KOF 15 and Samurai Showdown. Now, in the interview, he actually mentions that there is a potential that Capcom Vs SNK 3 might happen. And this got me super excited because Capcom Vs SNK 2 is one of my favorite fighting games ever. There's just so much there that I love. And well, I'm going to talk a bit about what Oda has said in this interview. Now, before I continue, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. So as I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of Capcom vs SNK 2. I love the game. It's such an amazing and deep fighting game that has so many options. The roster is insane with the amount of characters that you see. The music is godlike. One of my favorite songs, of course, is the London stage song, or This Is True Love Making, which is just a banger. Also, shoutouts to Friday Night's Fisticuffs. But anyhow, Capcom vs SNK 2, as I mentioned, love it. It's amazing. There's just so much there. And of course, for years, we never got a third one. We did get, for example, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but there was never a big collaboration again for another game that is Capcom vs. SNK. There was never a third game for the franchise, which is something that was a bit of a bummer. However, in this new interview that the Video Game Chronicles or VGC had with Oda, he actually has some interesting words. They asked him if he was interested in creating a new SNK vs. Capcom game. Oda said, "Definitely in the future. That is something that I think everybody on all sides in both parties are interested in making a reality, especially after we saw the reaction to the EVO posters. It helped us reconfirm that is probably one of the most wanted things from the fighting game community across the entire world." Of course, they asked him if there was specific plans, which Oda replied, "We haven't really talked in detail with anybody at Capcom about it. It might have come up as a vague comment. However, we have a lot of experiences with things like Akuma and Geese in Tekken, Terry in Fighting EX Layer, Terry in Smash Bros, and Baiken in Samurai Showdown. But recently, we haven't actually done anything with Capcom, even in the character collaboration stuff. So that poster, in our sense, was the first step towards maybe something like that happening in the future." And then Oda ends up saying, because it's been 20 years since, SNK vs. Capcom became a reality. And Oda was like, 20 years is definitely too long for me. We'll try and get it done in 10. Obviously, it's kind of like a joke, so don't expect in 10 years a Capcom vs. SNK. However, with this interview, he is saying that from the SNK side, there's definitely interest. They really want to pursue, or they are at least thinking about, hey, it would be nice if we could do a new Capcom vs. SNK. And I think at the Capcom side, especially now that Ono is gone and we have the new blood, we have new people spearheading the Street Fighter franchise and the fighting game side of Capcom, there could be a potential of, interest. And this is definitely something I would love to see. And I think there's a lot of fans out there who would love to have another Capcom vs. SNK. Both companies with so much history in the fighting community. So it would be amazing to see them again together in a fighting game, especially how they would modernize it. Times have changed, obviously. Fighting games are much different than, when Capcom vs. SNK 2 came out than what it is today. So I think it would be really amazing to see how they would approach it. What mechanics could they do? What about the art style? For me, I would love to see, of course, Sprite, a beautiful 2D looking game, but of course, you know, they are probably not going to do that. We are probably going to see something in between what Street Fighter is looking to what KOF is looking. You know, it's going to be like a 3D character models. Not that there's anything bad with it. There's just a special place for sprite-based games in my heart. But this is amazing overall. And I think a lot of people are talking about it now after seeing this interview. It got a lot of people like raising their eyebrows, being like, this would be amazing to see again. And even to this day, Capcom vs SNK 2 has a community behind it. There's so many tournaments that you see that like they put Capcom vs SNK as a game for a tournament, and people go out there. People go out there and support the game. So you see, despite how much time has passed, there's still so much love in the game, and there's still people playing it. And definitely, if you haven't tried it, you should definitely like give it a shot. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. And well, you're probably saying, well, how am I supposed to play the game? You know, I don't have a Dreamcast, a PS2, it's probably not an arcade. Well, you know, there are ways. There are ways. You have Fightcade as an example that you should definitely look into if you are interested. But yeah, overall, I'm very excited after hearing this. This is a franchise that like I loved playing, and for years and years I've been like, I would love to see another game. So the fact that like SNK is thinking about it and maybe they could start the ball rolling, I think it would be amazing to see another one. Of course, they should bring back Hideaki Tsuno. He was the designer for Capcom vs SNK 2, so you need to bring the man again. That's it for me, guys. Just wanted to briefly talk about this and how excited I am that like, hey, there's a mention. Obviously, nothing is confirmed, but I'm gonna have hope and like try to keep going for 10 more years, and hopefully we would get a Capcom vs SNK 3 by then. But yeah, what are your thoughts, guys? As always, this has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.